sales organization, you want 60% or better of your business coming from referrals.
And so now I'm learning that things are not so straightforward like that. Yeah. That's coming with time, maturity, emotional intelligence.
I started getting into the environment hunting at 7.
Oh, wow.
Because I started to shoot the bow, bow and arrow and learning that.
What I learned is that people don't like the scripted version of you.
Well, guess what? That building was 100% leased, fully spoken for prior to certificate of occupancy.
I think that people don't see that. They just think, like exactly how you said, like it's just like, oh, I just woke up here.
There's two sides to passion, right? There's a harmonious side and there's an obsessive side.
Sometimes you expect the punch because that leaves the person open. So, I knew where to take my hits. I knew when to duck.
He looked at me straight in my face and told me, listen, I'm good whether you make it or you don't. I'm good. You're not.
Welcome to another episode of the Bottom Line Podcast, where we say what we mean and we mean what we say, because at the core of everything that is, was, and forever will be, there will always be the bottom line. Today's guest,
we are live.
Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Bottom Line Podcast, where we say what we mean and we mean what we say, because at the core of everything that is, was, and forever will be, there will always be the bottom line. I know I've been gone for a little bit. I've been busy. But today I brought you an amazing guest. This is somebody that we actually have conversations with. I have a conversation with him like all the time. And I have to find ways to get away from him because he's always trying to sell me on AI. So the conversation we're going to have today is about AI and everything else around AI, right? Today's guest is Aaron Noble with Cymbol out in Indianapolis. But Aaron has I want to say a national going into global reach with what you're doing out in this world, right?
Yeah.
So thanks for taking the time, Aaron, man. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for that introduction. That was an amazing introduction.
Oh, I could have went longer and longer and longer, but let's just, you know what I mean? Because you have so many titles. You have so many things that you do, right?
Yeah, I do. There is a lot that I do, yeah. On the main thing, though, at least how I got started in entrepreneurship and business, was through my agency called Cymbol. So, going way back, almost 10, 11 years ago, I dropped out of college and, long story short, I didn't have the money to pay for it. I lost a scholarship and my mother, she passed away. Sorry, I got my baby girl here. She passed away. So, I was kind of left at the end of the semester figuring out if I was going to continue or if baby girl.
Yeah. We can. Hey, baby girl. There we go. Hello. So we can kind of go backwards, actually, right? Because we could talk about fatherhood and how you're doing with how you're working with Cymbol and everything else you're doing. Because really, I'll tell you just a little bit, right? When I started doing this podcast, it was like during COVID. And a lot of people were trying to figure out how to have that work-life balance. Schools were completely remote. Jobs were going remote. People started using Zoom more. I know me for sure. Before COVID, I was not using Zoom at all. But once we got hit with COVID, we started using Zoom. So I started spending more time with the kids. And it was kind of like now we're at a place where, you can spend time with your kids and still work and still do things, still make things happen and be in multiple places at once. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So before we even get to Cymbol, man, how's fatherhood treating you?
It's great. Honestly, I feel that, I waited intentionally, to a point in my life where I had more time freedom to spend more time. I knew that when I started a family that I would want to spend all my time with my children. So, she's my first and she's 4 months old, and every day, Monday through Friday, she's with me in the office.
Yep.
It is a little challenging from the standpoint of obviously like doing a podcast or hopping on meetings. I might have to change a diaper before or even on a call. But other than that, I think most people see it as it's not an issue. Sometimes I feel like not that she's a burden, but I'd like to get some more work done or maybe focus a little bit more, but I could wake up earlier or honestly just put her in daycare if I need to.
I
don't need to. I have the time and space to do it. So
Yeah, and you enjoy that time, that space. I know you and I talk a
Oh
lot
yeah.
about
Yeah.
being able to do that because the time doesn't last forever. She's not gonna be that small forever. So it's kind
Exactly.
of like take it. I have two of my own, so I'm like, I look at her and I'm like, well, I remember when my daughter was that small, and now
Yeah.
she's like 11 years old, and forget about it. For her to get, before she can come to a point where she can sit in my lap at an 11-year
Right.
old, she's like punching me, and we're
Yeah.
gonna get wrestling, and you know what I mean. So just
Yeah.
enjoy this moment right here, man, because it doesn't last forever. Right.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. That's what I heard. And I'm really just capturing every moment with her. I love the fact that, I could be working and maybe something's not going so well in the business, or got some, a financial challenge I'm gonna have to work through, or,
Yeah.
just lost staff or something like that. And, I could just put the keyboard down, turn the computer off and just turn to my left and, spend 30 minutes, an hour with my girls. So
There you go.
that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's fun to work, but what are we working for?
Yeah. So let me ask you this, right? Because
Yeah.
so for me, I think, and I just said my daughter's 11, right? So that would be considered like Gen Alpha. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right?
I forgot. I know Gen Z. After Gen Z, it's like, I think Gen
It's new,
Beta.
whatever comes after Gen Z comes after Gen Z.
Yeah.
So what do you see? Where do you see us going, right? With like AI tech for her generation, right?
Yeah.
Because there's like it's kind of right now, I think the biggest thing is people are afraid of losing jobs taking, AI taking jobs, or even like, I know you use it for a lot of like, automating and
Yeah.
but will there still be work for, say, her generation when we think about AI and where it's headed right now?
Right. I believe that there will still be work. It just is, it's going to look a lot different, and we all know it's going to look different. Just we don't know how is it going to look different. Honestly, it's something that I've thought about even before. Having her, I knew that where we're heading in the future, and I did for some time let that kind of sink in my sit in my head and prevent me from wanting to move forward with having children. But I kind of just look at it as it is what it is, right? And we just have to adjust. For her, I believe, and really any child, or any adult at this point, any business owner, any teacher, anyone that's in the workforce, I believe that it's just our the view of the workforce is going to change. I believe there's going to be a bigger gap in between C-suite or higher level, managers, and then staff. And either you are managing AI, that your job is to manage AI, or you are being managed by AI.
Yeah.
And that's the gap. There's really no, I'm not gonna say no need for humans, obviously, in the workforce, but in some cases there are no need for some of the job positions that exist today, and those won't be.
Let's break that down right there. That part right there.
Yeah.
Let's break that down. You say there's no need for some of those jobs. That what are those jobs? Is it like the sales? Is it like, I know for me, you might pull up, say, drive-through, right? Maybe you're going to like a fast food, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right now you've got like the kiosks there. I think that was like a subtle introduction to AI, just to have that kiosk there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even when you're doing like you're getting your baggage check, whatever it is, anything where you have a kiosk, I'm like, that's AI. We just didn't call it that. We called it
exactly
kiosk. You know what I mean? And so you see that, and you're like, well, and that was a little. I know when I'm so like in New York, for instance, I remember when they first came out with the vending machines, because you used to have a clerk, like a token clerk inside of a booth, and they used to be able to sell you tokens. You know what I mean? And there'll be like a really long line, and people are just, I know you don't know what I mean. I know.
Yeah.
But,
Like, what are you talking about?
Right. But let me explain it to you. Right?
Yeah.
But there used to be like a really long line, and there would be like a person inside. For you to make it relatable, just think about driving like cross country, and you got somebody sitting in a booth and not using an Easy Pass, right? Well, now today, MTA in New York, for instance, and this is like, for years it's been like this for decades.
Right.
There's no more like tokens. There's like Metro cards. There's a vending machine. You put in what you want inside the vending machine. It spits it right out for you, right? And that was like kind of a kiosk for like, public transportation.
Yeah.
And you can kind of say that that's a kind of a form of AI, Okay.
Yeah.
Then maybe you're doing like a Google word search, right? That's another
Yeah.
form of AI, right?
Right.
But I think what we're seeing now is just the I think where people get scared, I know me personally, is it able to think on its own, right? When we go into like when we start
Mhm.
talking about like AGI, right?
Yeah.
And then the ones that I think what you touched on, you said some jobs are not going to be relevant anymore, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like what jobs specifically? Because there's two sides of AI. It's like, well, we can program it, number one,
Yeah.
right? And that's one side of it. But then what
Yeah.
about the part where you say where it's managing you,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So
Exactly.
can you break that down? Like just give us like brass, like make it real simple for me to understand. Because it's like there's levels to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. There are levels to it. And then also the time frame in which this is going to happen, which I believe is, within the next 10 years, there's going to be a distinguished, like a very, they call it a K-shaped economy.
Yeah.
And that's where we're heading, where um, there are what they call the overclass and then the underclass. Again, the overclass is literally the layer of humans who are either building these AI agents, working on AI models, prompting, using AI to or not using AI, but building AI to help processes and service delivery and everything you could think about in a department of a business, HR,
Mhm.
and then there's the underclass where again you're managed by AI, which might be I'm thinking maybe social workers is a great field to think about, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that need help, and I believe that help is going to come from humans more so than AI
Yeah.
or even robots. We're going to need humans, but those social workers, again being the underclass, if you will be managed by AI and people that are using AI to build um, to build what am I thinking? To using AI to build these systems that the humans are going to be
Yeah.
working on. If that
Yeah.
makes
So
sense.
should we learn AI or should we be learning how to train AI or how to program it? Like which one should we be focusing on? Do you think?
Um, I believe just AI mastery overall. So the first is just prompting. I believe prompting is the foundation, and understanding it. So literacy, understanding terms around AI,
Mhm.
but prompting being the number one thing right now, at least as far as even a position. Becoming a prompt engineer is going to help with that job security.
Mhm.
That's still a thing, but
Yeah.
that's what I would say everyone should be looking at, is AI prompting. Because if you're trying to build AI agents, or if you're trying to build workflows, decision models, anything related to AI, or build systems that again um, are that are like the higher layer
Yeah.
of AI. That's what you want to do. If you don't, and you ignore AI or are running away from it, you'll become that lower layer where again you're managed by AI,
Gotcha.
and it's a hard one to choose, because a lot of people are set in their ways. It's hard
Yeah.
to change the
Yeah.
way
You're
we
talking
do
to
things.
somebody who's pretty much set in his way, right? Like I'm
Yeah,
pretty
I
much,
know. It's tough.
I'm set in my way, right?
Yeah.
But I find myself using AI and it actually speeds things up for me. And it makes things a little bit more
Hmm.
um, I think like mindless, pretty much, where
Hmm.
you don't have to do as much thinking. You know what I mean? I think
Right.
that's my personal fear is like I don't want to not have to think, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind
Yeah.
of like in that way, I'm kind of like I'm overthinking it. If you can just plug it to do whatever you want it to do, program it to do whatever you want it to do, right? So like for instance, um, maybe you are thinking about a place to go eat, right? And
Hmm.
then maybe you
Hmm.
pull up Uber Eats, maybe you pull up what's the other one? DoorDash, maybe you pull up
Right.
what's the
Right.
other one? Any one of those, right?
Hmm.
And then usually the ones that have the best options for wherever
Hmm.
that's the one you're gonna use the most, right? You're
Yeah.
probably going to use a
Yeah.
DoorDash. You're going to, whatever one has the best options, has like the best local restaurants, you're going to use one of those. All right.
Yeah.
Is AI in it? And I'm thinking that AI is in that one, in like those tools and like those
Yeah.
apps,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
have we been using AI for years already and not really realizing that we've been using it? Or is it like this is a whole different thing, like that we should be kind of aware of? Because I'm looking at it as, you know what, we've been using this for a long time, but
Mm-hmm.
we're not aware of it. But then I hear other people talk and what the capabilities are. I'm like, dang, I don't know what that is, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. And AI has been around for a while with that back in the the 1950s with Alan Turing and the mind in the computer. So that's been around for a while. I think the biggest maybe impact of AI, or maybe not impact. What's the word? The biggest introduction of AI to the public, to the masses, was ChatGPT. I believe back in like 2002, 2022, and that was the biggest public unveiling of what has already been here. I just believe we've been creating content and writing content to build AI, and secretively, you have OpenAI taking everything that has been on the internet and training models to now do anything on the internet.
Pretty much.
So that's where we're at with it. I do believe we've contributed to AI. We actually absolutely have been contributing to AI. That's how it runs and how it works, as far as learning and teaching and training models. But as far as like, have we been able to interface with the intelligent part, the artificial intelligence? Have we been able to easily interface with it, before ChatGPT? And I don't believe so. I don't know if we even were thinking about AI, other than the godfathers of AI back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and government as well. So there's conspiracies out there. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theory, but I want
to go back to one of the things you said. You said something about managing, so like AI could manage you. So then, like, I think about our phones. Like, I'm always on my phone, and it's like there's like half of it. Am I using the phone, or is the phone using me? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, are you thinking, when you say managing, do you mean that maybe we'll become so dependent on AI that we'll like? Because I see a lot of people use ChatGPT for just about everything. I remember before we had Google, we had Yahoo, and it was kind of like you didn't, or even we had Wikipedia. And I remember being in school, and the professors are like, if you are writing anything and you're referencing Wikipedia, it's not going to count towards your grade. Like you're not going to get credit for that because you can edit Wikipedia. But now if you look at it, and you're talking, I graduated back in 09, right? So you're talking about from like maybe, I don't know, call it 2005 to about 09. That was like the development of Wikipedia. You know what I mean? And people were kind of like, people were not really happy with Wikipedia. Like if you were somebody who did research, right? You'd be like, nah, you're not, because you could put anything on Wikipedia. And now today everybody goes to Wikipedia, right? So like I'm looking at like ChatGPT in the same way, where I'm like, everybody's going to ChatGPT for every little thing, right? So is it managing us, or are we managing it with the data we put in there? Like what's going on there?
Yeah, that's a good point. And just to add to the Wikipedia, again, anyone can change what's on a Wikipedia page. We don't know really what AI is pulling from the internet and training on. So again, it's almost the same concept in a way, where people are trusting these models, but where are they getting their information? If they're getting it off a Reddit thread from someone who's sitting in their basement, typing some thought that they think is something that's more theory than factual, and then it's being put into the model, it's like, can you really trust AI? And I think that's where we're at. And we see the mistakes in AI. Sometimes it's very obvious, not just the way that it thinks and produces information, but some of the information overall. And a good example of that would be Google Bard, and what happened with Google, and publicly there was a mistake and they had to scrap it, and that's where you have Gemini as a rebrand. But to answer your question about manage, I believe we will all, just like we see now, we'll go to AI and we'll trust it. We'll trust the models that are being built by other humans. And they'll become employees. It's called a digital employee and AI agent. I believe we'll have a split workforce again. Those that are working on the AI will be more human. And then again, you have the AI agents, which can make decisions for humans that are doing a specific job that AI can't do or a robot can't do.
Yep.
As of
So,
now. So
your opinion of and this is like literally your opinion. So
yeah, very much.
ChatGPT versus like a Grok, right? What do you think is like the difference? And how did ChatGPT become like the main thing?
That's
And
a
we're
good
kind of like not thinking about the other ones. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, I don't know. I don't know if I can answer that question,
Yeah.
or even the main differences between the two. No, that's a good question. I if I was to just think about it, I think from a maybe funding standpoint, and then also you got to think about leadership, who all is behind OpenAI and who has been part of it. I know Elon Musk is a contributor, who also is a contributor of PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX, all these big companies. It probably was just the one company, and again nonprofit originally, that was building and probably was funded to be the number one, at least here in America. And now that's not the case. Things have changed even within leadership of OpenAI. I believe there was another.
Forget it. Yeah, it's huge
Yeah,
now.
and now you see all the leaders for all different models, in the news, and it's a race. It really is a race. But ChatGPT has definitely had some more competitors enter the space since its not conception, but just going live. And there was some serious challenges for companies that weren't really publicly talking about AIs. For instance, Google. When Google came out, they issued, I believe it was called a code red, where they realized that they have to build something because search is now being, their number one business model, search, is being stolen from the use of AI and OpenAI specifically. So that was the rush for their first version, which was Google Bard. But
tell me about that a little bit, right? Because I've heard about it, but I don't know too much about it. I didn't go down the rabbit hole on that one. But I know Gemini. Let me tell you something. So like everything is on Google for me. I've always trusted Google. I don't know how they kind of like sucked me into their ethos. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how Apple, you buy one Apple product, next thing you know, you're like in that ethos, So the same thing happened with Google. And what's funny is I'll probably be like, putting together an email, and then it'll try to speak in a different tone than I speak. Right. And I'm kind of like, sometimes it's good. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes it's good. It's quick. It has a good answer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other times I'm kind of like, I don't talk like that. It's not my tone. Right. But Gemini is actually pretty helpful, to say the least. Right.
Okay.
What do you think about Gemini? What do you think about how they kind of like just get you into their ethos without you even realizing it? Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah. And that's funny you said that. Google, I mean, are you specifically asking about like the Google Workspace or just the AI component to all their other products?
I mean, you can put Google, because that's where I'm at. I'm in the Google Workspace, but then it shows up in when I'm not, and like maybe I'm in my personal email and I'm like looking for something, or I'm typing together like a personal email. It's still there. Gemini is there. And even if you go like right now, for instance, and I love research. I'll do a lot of research, and I'll cross-reference things. I get down a rabbit hole in just about anything, right?
Right.
But when you get like an AI overview, that's also Google, right?
Yeah.
And the AI overview will pull from whatever websites you're doing that research from, because it used to be that Google was like a keyword search. It would just do like keyword searches.
Yeah.
Now it's pulling entire articles, it's pulling entire frameworks, it's pulling just about everything off of an AI overview, and you're getting all that condensed information in like a snapshot. You know what I mean? So I'm like, that's pretty useful, but they kind of suck you in there where you're not doing the search anymore. And you're like, yep, this is what the AI overview says. It must be accurate, and I'm good with that, right? And sometimes it's not really that accurate. Sometimes it's biased.
Yeah. And it also, another thing is the internet is biased just as a whole. And That's again going back to these training models. There's a lot of examples of how it's biased. I think it's what you said, the point of it's just a lot easier to get the biased information faster.
Yeah.
And it's just right there, and it's everywhere. It's in Google Docs, it's in your email, it's in Google Sheets, and you'll see the little prompts that say, start tutorial or learn how to use AI, or even on the browser on the top right, Gemini is right there.
Yeah.
And it's at the forefront because that's where all these companies are going to, all these trillion-dollar companies and Fortune 500 companies, product and SaaS platforms as well. They're all going to AI. So it's not even just Google. It's any platform that you use. It has some AI chat bot component feature that launched shortly after OpenAI and ChatGPT. So it's not only just Google, but you'll see in other products as well where
so for the sake of, let's go back to your original point, right, where you said some of it can manage you, like AI can probably, if you're not careful, it can manage you. In that way, I feel like I'm being managed. I'll just be real with you, right? Like I feel like I'm being managed. I feel like I'm being steered in a direction, right, where I'm kind of like, I don't like it. Bezos, for instance, you're not going to go shop anywhere. You're going to go straight to Amazon. And if Amazon doesn't have it, then you'll look at others. So he's kind of managing you, right? And for me, I'm like wondering, okay, if I'm going to use this thing, like, how do I program it so that it's not that I'm programming it, but I'm not also being managed? Like, how did I get sucked into the ethos? Number one. Number two, which one of it is which parts of it is, I'm going to say, credible, right? And then three, how do I manage being managed?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I manage being managed?
Yeah,
what do I do about that?
To answer even just how you get sucked in the ethos, the whole even ecosystem. I mean, it's just keeping up with, I won't say the Joneses, but just keeping up with the world. I mean, you don't even have to use a Google Workspace, right? You don't even have to use the internet for business. Technically, especially, for what you're doing, you could knock on doors and, it'd be hard to email. You could send a letter, you could call.
Old school.
But it's like, at the end of the day, we're on the internet. And since the internet is now changing and transforming into its own thing, which again is AI, it's like we almost don't have a choice. Very similar to smartphones. If you don't want a smartphone, you don't have to have a smartphone. You can absolutely get just a regular phone or a flip phone that doesn't have internet connection or access to apps, but you would be very behind. So to answer that question, it's just kind of what you have to do to keep up with the market, and also increase, I'd say, your value as a business owner or your business. If you're not using AI, again, you're doing a disservice for yourself, your business, your customers, because it's what everyone's expecting. Now, your second question was, how do you know if it's credible? Is that what you said?
Right. Yeah. How do you know if it's credible?
Yeah. You don't. You don't. I mean, there are the links that you can click on. That there are sources. Hold on. I'm gonna try to get her to relax. Sorry. There are the sources that you can click on and read, but just like before AI, it's just an easier way and faster way to get the information, the same information that you want. It's all on the internet. So as far as credibility, there's not much difference than, if the Gemini overview wasn't there and you just clicked on a link and you just read an article from someone or, an opinion. That's why they say, never trust anything on the internet.
Right.
That's where it is. Nothing's credible on the internet. And it's even less credible because you have more different types of media being created when it comes to audio and video. It's like, now I can't even tell if this is a real video.
Yeah. So that's where I want to go next, right? I'm glad you said that, right? Because then you have some discernment. You got to practice some discernment, right? When you're using it. What do you think about the talking babies? Like, you ever see those?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? The talking babies. Is that good? Is it? Can we use it for business? Because I really want to use it for business. But I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, babies don't talk this early.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
And some things do start getting a little weird and creepy because you can create anything that your mind can think of.
The dancing cats.
The dancing cats. I've seen now, vegetables talking about how to eat properly based off the food pyramid, and
Right.
I think there's just new creative ways of learning information. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just making sure that, especially like with babies or having a child, that, identity is being protected.
There you go.
You don't want to, put out, and I even talked with my family about pictures of, Naomi, and just posting certain things, just because the internet is it's the internet. Once you post it up, it doesn't go away.
Right.
And anyone can use that content. So if, I would hate to see my daughter, being used for someone's business because, they thought that she would be a good mascot,
Right.
and there's nothing that I could really do, maybe a cease and desist or,
Keep her off the internet.
Yeah, just really keep her off the internet. That's the safest way.
Yeah.
But even, as a business owner, you would hope that people wouldn't do that. But, that's not always the case. Same with, you go to trademark and copyright. People take other people's stuff all the time and rebrand it to be their own. So nowadays, you just don't know.
So I'm hearing you say a couple of things, man. The first thing is like, number one, you don't have to use internet. You don't have to use these systems. You don't have to. But if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to get left behind.
Very much so.
Right. Yeah. And then I'm hearing you say, not in so many words, but use some discernment. Right. Right. Just, you're not going to be able to say everything is credible. Some things will not be credible. It's stuff you're going to be reading anyways. And if you think about it, right, you should probably be doing your research and then verifying the research you're doing anyways, regardless.
Right. Yeah. AI just, again, is a speed thing. It's just getting it to you a lot quicker in a different format, but same content.
Yeah. So then, like, okay, if like one of the things that's crazy to me is like how it makes music. Like you can hear like amazing AI music. Now it's making movies, bro. Like, have you seen that? The AI movies?
Yeah, it just came out. Higgsfield is it, and it's funny that you say even the music. I used a platform that allowed me to create two high quality like songs. It's a beautiful song for my nonprofit, and I publish it on Spotify, and I use it for ceremonies when the kids are receiving their certificate of completion for completing one of my programs. And before that, I would just put something else up or just anything off YouTube. But this is a custom song that is aligned with our mission. It's the sound that we're looking for. And it was easy to create. I mean, within 5 minutes, I had a full built out song for free. Like, it didn't cost me anything. I was still in the trial, right? So that just shows you just, again, the power. If you're a business owner or want to start a business, or even just an artist, you can start now. And that's with anything. Same with movies. They're predicting Hollywood really isn't going to be a thing.
That's what I'm wondering, right? Like, will it replace your favorite artist, right? Will it replace like your favorate actors? Will you be okay with that? You know what I mean? Because now, like, where do we go from there? Because I know people are getting, a little carried away with AI, but I'm like really old school. I like a good movie. I like, the actors. I like to see my favorite actor in different kinds of films playing different kinds of roles, Now you can see The Rock and the AI fighting freaking Jason Momoa. You know what I mean? And you're like, the two of them, that would be cool to do, but what that contract would look like? Like, those are very two high-paid actors. Right? So does it capture their true personality? Does it capture like, the way that they would respond? You know what I mean? In a movie, like how much of this how far can we go with this thing? Like, where do we
And that's a good question. And it's also one thing I would just say is like, who's asking the question? If it's my daughter, she probably growing up with this wouldn't really mind or care, or likewise for myself. As much as I love movies and actors and all that, I grew up with YouTube. So influencers and whether it was on social media or just YouTube, influencers or YouTubers are my celebrity or my go-to, where I'd rather watch a YouTube series or video drop than like a movie. So that's a good point. Or someone like yourself who grew up, watching movies and, going to the theater and, probably had the CDs, the tapes, you had that experience with movies that, someone like my daughter wouldn't really be able to relate to, and all they, want to be at the end of the day, everyone just wants some entertainment. So how the entertainment looks, since you've seen the change, it does look like, man, this is changing. But again, when it's 4-month-old and this is what we have now, when she's able to even comprehend words or a movie,
it's all she knows.
That's all she knows, AI and AI influencers.
So let me ask you this, and then I want to kind of get into Cymbol. Because now that I'm seeing how you can do movies and I'm seeing how you can make music, I kind of want to do it for dance development.
You
know what I mean? Like, if we're gonna make movies, let's make movies. If we're gonna make music, let's make music. Right? That's what I'm thinking. And you said you do that too, like your graduation ceremonies. So I'm like, is this replacing marketing?
Is it replacing marketing?
Or is it marketing, but like in a different way? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's replacing like content creation for sure. I mean, you don't have to hire a model no longer to sell your product. You don't have to rent out a $50,000 red camera. You can just prompt it, and it's going to create that scene for you. You don't have to go to Japan to get this one scene that you're looking for. It's just all one prompt away. So it's not really replacing marketing. She really wants to go to sleep. It's not really replacing marketing, but it's just again a tool that we're using, and it's so real that now we're not really questioning. Marketing is not even changing. It's just the content and how it's being made is changing.
So it's
we're trying to make it look the same. The movies, everything, the music, it's all the same. And that's what's scary, is that we can't tell the difference. And it's like, is that okay that we can't tell the difference?
Right.
And if it is, or if it isn't okay, then like, how do we move around that, and why is it not okay that we can't tell the difference?
So for me, I'm thinking, when Uber first came out, nobody knew what Uber was, but then they had to regulate it. You know what I mean? When Airbnb came out, this guy Brian Chesky, nobody knew what that was, right? But then it got regulated. When Bill Gates came out with Microsoft, only he knew what he was doing and had to get regulated. So I'm like, are they going to? Do you see that maybe the government will have to step in and regulate AI, because it's crossing ethical and moral bounds? You know what I mean?
You would think, in today's world, you would think so. It's just who's going to do it. It's obviously been a concern for a couple of years now, and I don't know too much about the regulations, but I just know that there's a lot. Every day there's a new app popping up, and it's just getting better and better and better. So as far as regulators, I don't know what I can and can't do with AI, but access to it is only becoming easier and easier. So from that standpoint, I'm not really sure. If regulation is going to be able to keep up, because it doesn't seem like it is.
Right. Can you regulate an open AI? You know what I mean? Open source. Can you regulate open source? That's like probably not, right? Because it keeps going so fast, like you said. Right.
I think I'm going to put her down. Do you want to pause by chance, or I don't know if you want to.
All right. So we're gonna say, I don't know. We're gonna coin a term right here. Like, what is it? You can't regulate it, so it would be irregulatable.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Let's make this thing go viral, and let's coin that. Right? It just happened right now.
Now, live. Love it.
Right. Irregulatable. Try saying that 10 times.
Irregulatable. That's at the end of the day, that's what it feels like. Because we already know government, it's slow. It's not even just keeping up. Like government, it's hard just to keep up at a regular pace, but like AI is not even at a regular pace. It's at like an exponential pace. The pace is so exponential that it almost seems unrealistic for it to be regulated at this point. Again, every day a new AI tool is coming out, new models are being upgraded and updated, and we have free access. There's nothing, again, that I don't think we can do with AI. And nowadays, even with some of the safeguards, it's like people can jailbreak AI and have it do things it's not even supposed to do. And that, we have the dark web. We also have, jailbreaking iPhones was a thing back in the day. Like you could unlock a phone. So
Yep. 100%. So let's get into like I kind of want to know more about Cymbol. And I know
Mhm.
that you also work in the education space.
Yeah.
So I know
Yeah.
China has like 6-year-olds learning AI, right?
Yeah.
And that's like pretty
Yeah.
early. Like, what do they know at 6? Well, guess what? They're gonna
Right.
know AI. It's kind of like what you're just saying right now. It's like all Naomi's gonna know is what she knows, and that's gonna be like AI, right? She'll be able to tell the
Right.
difference. So, what are
Right.
your views? Let's talk about Symbol one, and let's talk about what are your views on because in the education space, what do you think kids should know in AI, maybe to
Mhm.
accelerate the learning curve?
Yeah, I'm glad you're asking these questions. One with Symbol. Can you hear her?
Oh,
No? Okay,
mm-mm.
cool. So with AI, or with Symbol, I started Symbol back in 2015, under the impression that I needed to start a business because I dropped out of college.
Yeah.
But then also I didn't know what business I needed to start. But you know, my in the
Not to
family, we were
interrupt you,
all
but you
about.
sound like every other creator out there, right? Like freaking Reed Hastings. What's this guy? Reed Hoffman dropped out of
Mm,
Stanford. Larry and Sergey
yeah,
dropped out of Stanford, right?
yeah, yeah,
Kanye dropped out, went to go make beats. So here you are. I
yeah.
dropped out of
I was
college, started a
dropout,
business,
you know, Kanye.
right?
But like the I dropped out because I just couldn't afford it, and I realized I wasn't going to go into debt, trying to find my self worth through college. So can you hear that? No, is it completely reducing? Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
100%.
We'll have to edit that out. Um, but I just knew I just couldn't afford, proving to the world that I have a degree. It was going to cost a lot. So at that point, I just knew I wanted to start a business. I knew I'd probably be a horrible employee, and I didn't know what I wanted to start my business in. So at the time, my mom, she was an IT specialist for the city of Bloomington, and my father is a developer for U.S. Border Protection. So all I know is technology and tech and just business, but I didn't merge the two together until I started Symbol.
Yeah.
And for the
Why
first
symbol?
four,
Real quick, sorry. Why symbol? What does symbol mean?
Symbol actually it wasn't an acronym, but the original logo had a dot above the C and the B. My mom's name was Carla Byrne, and I started it in remembrance of her. Um, it was obviously a hard time in my life to lose a parent, um, and I just didn't know what to do at the time, or what to like. I didn't even know what to name my company, so I'm like, let me just name something after my mother.
Yeah.
So it was really just in remembrance of her. Over the years, I've thought of it more so in the sense of just a centralized place for digital services, and that's really what we do. Is we provide a variety of different services and capabilities when it comes to business online. So design, website design, graphic design, development, marketing, strategy, branding, CRM, automation, and now AI. So my main focus for these upcoming months is to digitize my entire agency to fulfill all the services that I do for my clients now, but with AI in mind.
Right.
I want to say I've sadly, have replaced a good portion of my team with AI just because of
Sadly?
cost.
Why sadly?
I say sadly because I've worked with, my graphic designer, J Mark. I worked with him for over 6 years.
Yeah.
And, he was a contractor, worked out of the Philippines. Same with Ashley, a developer from South Africa. And then a few other key players on my team that I've had for a while. It's just that the work that they did, it was like 99%, replaced with AI.
Wow.
I no longer need, my designer to draft up an idea so my client I can go back and forth with my
Yeah. So
client.
you didn't regret it. You regret having to do that, right? But it sounds like to me that, and I'm glad that you're one of the people that says that I regret that I had to replace people with AI because it sounds to me like a lot of people are heading in that direction. They can't wait to replace people with AI. They're like, bring it
Yeah.
on. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
people need jobs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People,
That's the hard part.
yeah. As an entrepreneur, you probably, like you said, your mom passed away and you're trying to figure it out. And it's not like,
Right.
you knew what you were doing out all the way at the beginning. You're kind of going along, but you built relationships. So
Yeah,
the symbol
exactly.
means something to you, right?
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that's where I have a bit of, I guess, I don't know if it's an angst or whatever it is, but it's like I don't like the
Mm.
fact that people are so quick to use AI to replace people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So hearing you say
Yeah.
that, sadly, I'm like, oh, good. There's a human being out there that
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day,
you know
we
what I mean?
don't, and it's sad for, even myself and some of the skill sets that I have, I realize, well,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to replace myself. My idea for Cymbol here in the next 3 years is for it to be 99% autonomous. A client or a user could, go to our website, click on a service that they need, and it essentially just does it for them and produces a result, within minutes. And that's, I mean, in a way, there's no even need for me. Now I'm just again that upper class when it comes to
That K-shape.
that K shape. Yeah, and I'm just managing a bunch of AI agents that are executing on what my clients need. Now, can my clients, do the same thing? Yeah, but like they would have to again build the AI, build the infrastructure, have the systems, have the training, be able to put the SOPs in an AI model for it to be able to know or make decisions like I have in the past with humans. So
yeah,
it is sad. Even web design, that was my like skill that I absolutely enjoy, but nowadays I can just make that prompt really quick, and I've been able to lower prices for my clients. That's been a plus. I've been able to help more people. That's been a plus, and that kind of, those are the factors I had to put in place or to really think about. Was like, okay, sure, I'm losing my designer from the last 6 years, but I'm going to be able to help way more people at a lower rate.
Gotcha. Okay.
And utilize AI in that way where it was costing me way more to have a human there to do it.
Yeah. So you're more efficient, right? And you're able to provide like I guess better quality service, right?
Yeah. And
And
cheaper too.
and cheaper. Okay.
Cheaper to do. Yeah, it's like better quality, cheaper to do.
Yeah.
And then higher profit margins.
Okay.
So,
And then because of what you do, you say you want to digitize the entire thing, right? So
yeah.
all right. What do we need to digitize? I know you and I talk a lot, right? And then we're like, hey, go get a VA, man. You need a VA. And I'm like, I'll just do AI agent. I have AI agents. I can use AI agents, right? So what are some things that as you being somebody who's growing and you're evolving in that space, what do you think most from what you see, whether it's in education or it's in like maybe startup businesses, what do you think is like for us to be able to move faster and do exactly what you just said, make it more affordable, right? Better quality service. What are some things that we should digitize?
Yeah. Any narrow task, and what I mean by narrow task, it's simply do this to do that, and sometimes a bigger project has a bunch of narrow tasks, and a lot of times when you think about AI, you're like, oh, I'm going to create an AI so it could do this bigger project, can do all of this. But what really you need is an AI agent to do a very narrow task. So for instance, scraping, the internet for current news on AI and education. I have an AI employee that does that every single day at 6 a.m. when I wake up. It goes out, specifically finds content around AI in the education space so that I'm, up to date with it.
Gotcha.
It also looks at my emails for any newsletters that I've, subscribed to. And it's produced a report for me to look at so I can wake up and move forward with that versus reading through everything.
So industry knowledge, like get industry knowledge, it gets all of that for you, keeps you up to date, right?
Another great one would be an SOP creator. I'm all about SOPs, processes, and that's really been the core of Cymbol is it being SOP driven. So everything we do has an SOP,
Yeah.
standard operating procedure for those that don't know. But I also believe that if you can create SOPs on any task that you do, those SOPs can be used to train AI models or create AI workflows. So I have an AI agent that creates SOPs when I prompt in, create an SOP on how to onboard a client for website design in Asana. It's like, okay, bam, it just created everything that I needed. And then I can also then turn that SOP into an agent itself. So I think the real golden nugget here is to create an AI agent that can create SOPs so that you can create more AI agents. Because AI
and then
agents,
buy back more of your time, so you can be more efficient somewhere else. But here's my beef with the whole SOP thing, because like I love SOPs too. Love SOPs, gotta have it. Problem is, it's always changing. Every time because like your industry might be changing, right? You might have longer cycles. And I'm saying this too, like I like the fact that you're in education because, kids are coming out of school or they're going to school. By the time they get out of school, I mean, the market has changed so fast, right? So like when you're hiring new people, you got a new hire, you might have a SOP for onboarding, but that might change too, right? Because of maybe the pay structure changed, maybe the responsibilities kind of change. Maybe you have to make some lateral moves, right? So now you got to update your SOP. So my question is like, can you, do you think it would be helpful because it's kind of like when we get into it, number one, in the education side, most kids go to school to be trained to get a job.
Right.
So when you get the job, but you're doing the bare minimum because you want to collect the check. If you want to move up at the job, now you got to be a value add. You got to get better credentials. You got to find, deficiencies in the company so that you can become a value add in that area, right? So then your SOP is going to change. Is it going to be beneficial for you to have AI create your SOP? And then have it like evolve as maybe the business evolves, or is it more beneficial to actually have that open door policy and have people come in and kind of do a brain dump and have like a little bit of meritocracy where everybody can come up with their ideas, right? And they say, hey, I think if we implement X, Y in this department, I'll update the SOP. And then I'll say, and I'll take credit for that. Now you can give me my raise. Or if you like working on commission, now you can give me that, that profit share. You know what I mean? Like which one do you think?
Question. So to answer this, there's like what we should do just as humans, and there's what we probably will do because we're also just human.
Yeah. Well, just to let me put the little cherry on top for you, because like there's a standard, right? That's what the SOP is, a standard operation. What should the standard be?
That's a good point. And I mean, to answer like how I even just change my SOPs, because they do change, business change. I always say your business plan should be changing or evolving. It's not just it's a living document. Same with SOPs. I have an AI agent that looks at SOPs and will change, like we'll go into the Google Drive, find the SOP, create that SOP document, duplicate it, make the changes, and then send me a message saying, look at the changes. So it's like, that's the way that I feel majority of people are going to do, is just build an AI agent to then, to fix that or, piece that all together. So that like, they don't have to talk to human or have an open door policy. But I think what we should do is bring in someone, have someone come to our desk, say, hey, this is what I've realized. This is what, this is what needs to be fixed. Either have them use AI, and then go that way. So there's still some type of human intervention, and there always will need to be some human intervention, I believe. So if there's not, then we got some bigger challenges. Which, I mean, there has been platforms where, again, it's 100% AI and there's no humans.
So now is the training and the education on training, I guess, the human on how to train the AI to anticipate the changes, or is the training going to be on educating the human on how to do HR and teach about how to work human to human and have effective communication with your colleagues? Like on some level, you know what I mean? Something is going to be lacking. So like, what is your suggestion? And I know, like, you're not looking at a crystal ball, but like you're in a space that's constantly evolving too. So like, just to get your insight, what do you think the standard should be?
just knowing again that K-shaped economy and where we're going, I think the decision is either like it's hard for me to make the decision. It's either you make the decision as a freelancer, business owner, employee, that you either learn and build things with AI to help other humans, or you get managed by the AI. I don't know how else to say it, but the standard, like it's hard because we can now I believe the decisions on an individual level. It's either you want to merge, with the machines, or you're not. And I think it just comes with it's an individual decision. Because the landscape is there. Of course, we can foreshadow, what it's going to be. There's been movies to foreshadow, what this is going to look like. And we're not too far from it, and it's very obvious to see, okay, this is kind of like where it's going. And again, I don't know.
I'm one of those people. I'm just like you right now. So I'm like, I probably wouldn't be able to decide. So I probably do both. Give me one person who does like HR, and then give me another person that does just AI, and have them work together. You know what I mean? Because I can't decide on which one is going to be more beneficial to my team, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. We're going to have people who, we're gonna have a blend of employment, and you're gonna have your digital workforce, and then you're gonna have your human workforce. And who's gonna manage that digital workforce? Like that's the job that maybe you're talking about. It's like, this is like, again, the job security is creating and managing the AIs until until it kind of manages itself. And when it manages itself, now we're talking about universal base income, and this extinction of a bunch of jobs, and people really trying to find purpose in their life, because it no longer is associated with work. You don't have to work, which again, we spend a third of our lives working. So I'm not opposed to working less, but working, not working completely. It's kind of like, what am I doing here? What are we doing? And then also trusting who's working, who's taking over the work. Again, AI and robots. Do I trust them? Can I trust them?
That's where I am right now.
Yeah. So our right now, one thing, and I believe it was the head. I forgot his name, but he was the head of Google development and developers.
Schmidt. Is it Schmidt? Eric Schmidt?
I don't know. I don't know names like that. I actually, I wouldn't know. I just remember seeing a conference he was speaking on. He was speaking on a stage, and he was just saying, stop teaching kids about development. It's been last 10 years, boot camp this, develop that, Python this, JavaScript, React Native, all these, coding. It's like, stop, no longer will we need developers. It's hard to hear also, because I had these conversations with my father, and he's a developer, and together we've been building a few AI applications, and he's telling me, he's like, son, it's crazy what it is, because he's spending a lot less time and building a lot more than he ever could with different languages using AI. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is that a lot of the developers, computer science, graduates and individuals who even have development firms will pivot into, or I would highly recommend them pivot into building AI agents. And our development department has now become the HR department, and developers are now the HR for the digital AI agents.
Gotcha.
And developers are building and managing these employees digitally. But then even on a robotic standpoint, you have the robots. I forgot what factory, a car factory, it could have been Ford, or I'm not sure what factory it was, but there was a robot that worked for 5 months straight, from the articles I was reading. And again, that person that was doing that job no longer is doing that job. It's the job that's there is the person working or building or managing the robot.
Gotcha.
And that's from a physical standpoint.
Did you hear about Waymo? That there's people in the Philippines that's actually driving those cars. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, that's very true. I was just in Miami last week or 2 weeks ago, and I seen it's called Coco. It's a delivery robot that roams the streets, and I could tell that it probably was a human remote accessing into that cart. And the reason why I say that is because just the behavior of the robot, it didn't seem calculated in any way. It almost seemed a human was moving a remote control car. So even the wheels were twitching, in a certain way. They weren't smooth transactions, and it was very
human behavior.
You can tell when a robot's very usually smooth, and the way it was just kind of dodging people, or when people pass it would stop, but as soon as it would go, it would just kind of just do. It was too fast for almost a robot to even move in that way, and I could just tell by the wheels and the axle. It was just
crazy.
Yeah, like when you're playing a video game and you're moving it just a little bit this way.
I got you.
So I'm pretty sure that those are remote accessed, and there's been a few other companies as well that have been busted for being the AI powered, whatever it is.
They're not really AI powered, right? It's like some human back there.
Yeah, so it's a whole workforce.
That makes me think about how old should children be? Because like China got them started at 6. So like from your insight, your experience working with children, your experience in the game, like AI and digitizing everything, how old should a kid be before they get like a taste of reality and then kind of like, okay, this is like AI?
Yeah, that's a good point. 6 is pretty aggressive. That's pretty early. 6 years old. I primarily work with middle and high school students, and we have a pathways where we follow kids, students from 6th grade to 12th grade, helping them get into the workforce. So in my eyes, at least from my experience right now, it's 6th grade. It's that middle school, that period from we're learning the basics, elementary school, learning the basics, to like high school. We need to hop on a pathway and start moving that way.
Gotcha.
I think that
I agree with that, by the way.
Is right in the middle school area, right in the middle. So 6th grade, and helping them explore AI, help develop AI literacy skills. Honestly, it's like if we're learning sentences and we're learning verbs and nouns and grammars in elementary school, maybe we could be learning about AI prompting and how AI works and talking. That wouldn't hurt. Because it doesn't really matter what industry you're in, AI is going to be there. It's just like the internet. Internet's almost in every industry, today. I would argue, it would be hard to argue what industry AI hasn't impacted.
Won't be in,
or internet has impacted, so same, AI will do the same. So maybe even earlier than 6th grade, but definitely by 6th grade, pairing AI with whatever you want to be.
5th to 6th grade, I think, is a good grade.
The challenge we have now is that we have 11th, 12th graders. We have students in college right now, and there's this gray area. We're in this pivotal point where AI is here. We can see where it's going, but it hasn't gotten to the point where it's like 50-50, like 50-50 workforce, where we have the digital employees and we have the humans. It hasn't hit that K-shaped economy yet. So a lot of kids are blindsided. They're very much blindsided. And I mean, just not to talk much about the education system, but students are even blindsided to the fact, forget AI, just blindsided to the fact of the opportunities that are really out there with a college degree.
Do you think that's like
college,
Well, before you go to college, do you think like you said, the kids that are blindsided, do you think it's like a socioeconomic problem, like a digital divide kind of?
Rephrase your question. Maybe I don't understand.
So like maybe like I know when I was in school, right? And then I'm from the dial-up days. I don't know if you know, because you're like
I have heard about it. But I don't really.
Exactly. It used to be that everybody had internet, right? And then usually they would say like the lower income neighborhoods did not get internet because they just
Yeah, it's
didn't
true.
have the resources, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering when you're saying, kids are blindsided, they're going to be blindsided. Is it because they're like from a low income neighborhood? Is it like a socioeconomic
Uh,
reason why they don't
oh, I
have
see. Okay.
access? Is it because of
Yeah.
the schools in those areas? Like, what's the
Uh,
area? Like, why would
I,
they not? Why would they get blindsided? Everybody
yeah.
knows about AI. So
Yeah.
why would they
Good
get
point.
blindsided? Is it
Yeah.
like a
Good point.
problem, like a poverty problem? Like, what do you think?
No, that's a good point. And this is the time, and I've mentioned this before on even a couple of reels, is that even for those areas where poverty is present, this is the opportunity to get out of poverty. So this is a whole reset for everyone. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Doesn't matter, skin color. Doesn't matter. There's no. It's now humans and machines. Where it's not about anything else we've had in the past. So it is a good question. That this is a reset and an opportunity for anyone to jump in, and that's why it's important that we start learning about it sooner than later. I mean, whether it's a 12th grader going to college that has a full ride scholarship, or a sixth grader that doesn't have enough money to wash clothes for school, or someone like myself who's seasoned in tech for 10 years, we all should be sweating and looking around like, hey, this is something we need to learn. It's going to hit us all. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's this would be again the time to reset some of those social economic differences, and that's one thing that I've had a challenge with some of the schools that I serve here, just in Indianapolis, or just in other inner city schools as well, is that we're kind of running away from it, and just America as a whole, we're running away from AI, and it's to a point where I think we're running away because we don't know what to do, and there's a big gray area, and we're like, well, let's think about it later and figure that out later, like, or we're trying to figure it out now, so let's just block it all.
So you're like, run towards it. You think we should just run towards it?
Yeah, you're gonna have to run towards it, and it's like it's kind of like a double-edged sword, and it's not like can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if we can't beat them, we have to join them. It doesn't mean that you have to use AI in a negative way, but you can understand it more. Okay. Running away from them, it's not the solution at all. There's no reason why we should be running away from AI.
Sure.
Is it good? I don't know. There's good and bad to everything. We can talk about cars. We can talk about cell phones. We can talk about TV. There's just daycare, education. It's vaccines. Like is it good or not? I don't know. However you want to look at it, but it's here, and that's the thing. It's here. I can't tell you how many schools have hired me to come in to conduct an AI workshop for their students. Yet every AI platform I try to pull up is blocked by the school.
Oh wow!
So it's like, what that just that right there is a statement of where we are in the education system.
Yeah,
where
let's get into that.
We need it. Yeah,
let's get into that. So like, part of what you do is presentations, keynote speaker. You talk a lot about AI, like a lot. You and I talk. You somehow or another, you're going to end up talking to me about AI. Yeah. Let's talk about those workshops, right? Who needs them? What does your workshop consist of? And like basic as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like, how do people get in touch with you to like maybe book a workshop to learn about AI? And I'm thinking more like not just like education, but also like businesses, because like education is a business. You know what I mean? It's just one business. But then you got like, for me, I'm thinking, and I know you and I talked about this, anything independent contractor, like health insurance providers, or financial advisors, or even real estate agents, lending officers. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think a lot of people need to know, because you're going to have people who are just using AI and they're not programming it to do what they want to do. So that might be a part where they need to be, maybe you want to do a workshop. What are some of the basic things in your workshop that you cover that, maybe people could say, you know what, I want to look this guy up and I want to, get him in here to start talking about these things because we could probably use it in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm actually pulling up the artificial intelligence program outline that I have, which I'm absolutely willing to share with anyone who's interested. But the main thing first is literacy, and that's whether it's AI or not. If you can't read or write, it becomes very challenging to learn. Period. So the first thing that we hit on is literacy in terms, understanding what a model is, the different platforms that exist. But even before literacy, I want to go back to all of the programs that I facilitate for students has a very distinct model, and I think this is key to just the overall why of we're learning it, and it's the past, present, and future. Whether it's our automotive program or hair care, it could be 3D modeling, content creation. There's always a past, present, and future to it. So that is the format of the workshop that I have in the program that I have. So we talk about the past. We talk about 1950. Again, when I ask students, when do you think, or even adults, when do you think AI was founded or created or thought about? They're thinking 2020, 2022, right. Like jumping in there. I'm like, no, we're about 70 years ago, AI was talked about. So whenever you see it from that perspective, it kind of helps you understand how far and how we got to where we are today. And that's where we'll talk about the present. And then of course the future, which, you and I have discussed today. So that's always in the program structure for all the programs I teach, but specifically AI. And then again, AI literacy. And then the main lessons are about the different mediums that you can create with AI, whether it's video production, writing, AI influencers, website development, voice production. The first lesson is just the overall introduction to AI and its applications. So learning about the different industries that AI, is going to impact, which is most of them, but then also examples of how, which has been great because I've had students just in that, lesson one introduction to AI workshop. I've had students tell me what they wanted to be, and I've helped kind of shape their mind to like what it could be in the future, right? Gotcha. Whether you're a lawyer or you want to be a radiologist, it's like, or a truck driver, it's like, well, did you know that they're currently, testing and piloting self-driving semi trucks? Like you want to be a semi truck, like great. Or going to be a mechanic, well, that's great. Are you aware that a lot of the cars that we have today, they're gas, but we're probably going to need a lot more electric, mechanics. In
the future.
And can you imagine a car in 25 years that doesn't have a steering wheel? They're like this. These are things that have, and these aren't just things I'm thinking about. These are what a lot of the leaders that lead in this space have said. Right. And I trust and believe them because a lot of what they've said years ago is here today. So Elon Musk being one of them, and whether I like it or not, some of the stuff that he says, I do believe. I've seen him mention the Cybertruck. Did it appear when he said it was going to appear? No, but is it here? Yeah, I see refrigerators driving all day long on the highway.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? That's crazy. Yeah.
Same with everything he's almost predicted or done. So that's one thing. But one of the things I like to do also is not just like when it comes to AI and the workshop for the students is it's not just hey, the future is going to change to what it looks like. You're not going to have a job or career. Right. It's doing the career research project with it, and it's actually writing down what the career that they want to do, and then doing research on different products or services or robots or AI that's out there doing what they want to do and researching, what that looks like so that they get a real world view of what's happening now versus, what they've been told for 12 years. And
so they're not blindsided once they get out there. Yeah,
exactly. And there was a student who was really, I could tell that she was under distress because of what she wanted to be. I can't recall. I don't know if it was a lawyer or I forgot what the position was, but she was doing the research and she's just like, well, I can't really do this anymore. And it was and it's these moments that are tough to have, especially with students. You know, you don't want to break a student or shatter a student's dream, spirit and dream, and what they've been thinking all this time. But like the worst thing we could do is have them think, you know, this is what it's going to be, and then, you know, not tell them. It's kind of like never telling them that Santa's not real.
No, I told my kids from day one Santa's not real.
Well,
But I think one of the things, you know, kids are resourceful, they're resilient. And I know we have to be. We have to know when to pivot and how to pivot. And you don't know until you get in there.
True.
Right? You got to get in there. Once you get in there, I mean, you'll figure out when and how to pivot. And I think that's what I admire so much about, you know, entrepreneurship, is that you do have the ability to pivot. You know, I tell my kids there's three kinds of people in the world. You have acute people, you have, you know, right angle people, squares, and then you have obtuse people with like really socially awkward. They're like 180. They're like those are the people that make the best entrepreneurs. Okay. And your 90-degree square people, they show up to work on time. They make amazing employees. They're very right and exact. Right. And you have to have that in your team. Otherwise, you know, you're going to struggle because you're too obtuse. You're going to lose a lot of people and opportunities. You know what I mean? And then you've got your people who are, you know, those acute people. Those are your like quality assurance, detail oriented, you know, engineer minded people who pay attention to the details, right? Down to like a hair, right? And they hate to be off by a margin. And you got to have all three of those. If you have that in a student who starts to show those signs in school between maybe 5th grade to like 12th grade, you can kind of figure out where that person's going to be and how they're going to respond to like a change, you know, in the markets, right? And how they're going to adjust. So it's kind of like, I love to see that mind when the wheels start spinning and how they respond to stress. Because you're like, okay, let's see what you're going to do, right?
Yeah. And then another thing too is that also their brain is still developing, and they also just don't know the real world. So it's also helping them, like guiding them there too. I can't hit them with a truth bomb and say, this isn't going to be a career, and then be like, well, you know, go figure it out. It's more so like what tool can you build an AI around, you know, being XYZ, or how are you going to be in that upper class of layer of that K-shaped economy. And that's what we have to really focus on, is helping students, again, no matter where they are social, economic wise, this, and especially the underserved community, this is the opportunity to do it. We should not be running away, you know, from this. So we need to you know, teach it, 2, address the changes, and then 3, support them with tools and resources so that they can become that upper class, that high value employee that's building AI, and not the one being managed by it.
Right. No, I agree 100%. So I'm curious too, right? Just like, and it's hard to tell, because I ask this question a lot of people. I say, hey, where do you see the industry going in 10 years? It's like, don't even ask that question. You're not thinking fast enough. It's changing tomorrow, right? It's changing like the day after tomorrow. So it's like, for me, I'm wondering for you, right? And we can go on to like how it is globally. We can talk about how it is in different cultures. I kind of want to make this like an ongoing conversation. As AI continues to evolve, and you've got, you know, your fingers on the pulse, you can kind of like, you know, not only give updates, but tell us what you're doing in your workshops, right? And then what you anticipate needs to be done in your workshops. Because I think if you and I are like even having that conversation, it'll get people thinking more. You know what I mean? And not like what you said, not running away from it, but running towards it. Because now they have like a plan, and they're like, you know what, I'm willing to figure it out as we go along, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So give me like a 3-year like outlook. What do you think in 3 years what we should reverse engineer from, if we can like say, you know what, here's where I want my business to be in the next 3 years. Maybe here's where I want my, you know, my kid to be learning in school in the next 3 years. What is the next? Give me 3-year outlook when you think of just like regular AI, basic AI.
Basic AI, 3-year outlook from a student perspective or business?
Well, just maybe from like a business perspective, because you can add the student perspective, because it's like it's still education. You got to train a lot of business owners on how to make those changes. So there's maybe, where do you see? For me, I'll give you like just one thing. I know AI calls, like it got better. Like, you know, those bots that used to call you could tell it was a bot. Now you got AI agents that are calling people, and the calls are so much better. They sound more human. So I think if you don't have that in your system, you must have that. If you don't want it, good. Maybe it doesn't match your target market, but and dealing with the demographic in your target market, maybe you don't have it. But the people
Right.
who are using it, they're moving a lot faster. Right.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that
Yeah.
might be one. Maybe another one might be I know me for like, sourcing opportunities,
Hmm.
having AI sourcing platforms to source opportunities for me, like scrub my
Yeah.
spreadsheets, find me candidates, these kinds of things. I'm moving a lot faster. Right.
Yeah.
So what are
Yeah.
just some basic things you think maybe in the next 3 years that if you don't have it in your business, or even if schools don't have it in their schools, they're going to be left behind?
I'd go back to um I'd go back to just standard operating procedures.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I would
Yeah,
just go
you're
back to
consistent with
like,
that.
yeah, like at
Right.
the end of the day, whether you have AI or not, if you don't have a standard operating procedure on how something's supposed to get done, no matter what it is,
Yeah.
I mean, you're just the one man band working by yourself. You can't delegate. You can't even get an AI agent to do anything because there's no
Yeah.
process documented.
Yep.
Um, you know, I would say just being able to build processes. The second thing is, if you're a business owner and you're thinking about just AI, figure out how to build AI with AI. This is the time where the Facebooks, the Ubers, the Lyft, the DoorDashes. This is the time that they were created, when the app ecosystem was created back in 2007 with the iPhone. With AI, that this is the time. I mean, we only have probably 24, 36 months before the key players in the space when it comes to software or AI models or anything AI related. Again, being a tool that executes, is like, I want to say relevant, but like is like is the one. So
The standard, like
whatever
the
you do,
standard. Yeah.
that's the standard, right? Like,
Mhm.
could you start a door delivery app today? You could, but the
Yeah.
market's pretty much eaten up. Same with the Lyft, Uber, even social media. I mean, I
Yeah.
think what was it called, in 2020 during COVID? Uh, that social media platform Clubhouse, came out, and like that
Oh,
was,
came and left, right?
yeah, it came and left, right? It's still around, but like, it
Yeah.
still was popular. But it was when it became popular, a lot of people were talking about like, wow, like another social platform just came up. But
Yeah.
now we are pretty much set in our ways with the platforms that are around today,
Sure.
and even the ones that had fallen off and they've been around for a while. Like TikTok's not really new. It's musically from 8 years ago. It's just been
Gotcha.
rebranded, sold, sent here, done this.
Mhm.
So again, building the platform, the intellectual property, the branding around an AI platform,
Mhm.
even if it's a wrapper. And what I mean wrapper is something that honestly ChatGPT could just do. It's just the way you interface with it, and the output is in a contained, branded software platform or environment. Build that, do that, and use AI to do it.
Gotcha.
That way, you're not that you're falling behind, but you're increasing like your overall enterprise value by having some type of platform or system
Yeah.
built, rather than being a business owner using AI. Because again, if you're using AI, you're either like kind of being managed. Even as a business owner, it's like
Right.
you're using it, you're at the mercy of whatever that is, versus you create it. Now you're at the upper class of your
Gotcha.
business,
Yeah.
in that economy.
So is that part of the standard? All of that is part of the standard, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So you must have an SOP. You'll
Yeah.
die on that hill.
Oh yeah.
100%, right?
Yeah.
You must set your standard, right? And be that go-to, right? Just like
Mhm.
DoorDash is a go-to, Google is a go-to,
Yeah.
right? So set that
Yeah.
standard. What's
I
the
said the
third thing?
standard, or I would say build the platform.
Build a platform.
Just build the platform.
Gotcha.
Build the tool. Build the AI tool with AI. Yeah.
Use AI to build AI.
Use AI to build AI.
Gotcha. Those are
Because
top
it's
three
easier than
things.
it. Yeah, everyone's a developer. Everyone's a filmmaker. Everyone, like, if you want to start a TV show, right?
Yeah.
Like, you could start your own TV show, and it could be, the top AI TV show. If you want to start your own AI musician or artist, you can. I mean, I think like on the Billboard, there's 4 out of the top 10, 4 of them are AI artists.
Crazy to me.
Build that influencer, the one that, yeah. So it's like, build it. This is the building season. This is not the runaway.
Yeah.
Let's question it. Like,
that part
there's
just
no
like
regulation or anything. Let's just go with it.
No, that part right there makes me really upset because, like, I'm a big hip hop head. I used to love like listen to hip hop, and like, you can listen to like Nas, and then you got his maturation from like his first album up to like even now he's still evolving lyrically. You know what I mean? You listen to like Wu-Tang, listen to any one of the MCs, bro. Like any one of them, you see the maturation in their thought process. You know what I'm saying? So like as now you're not gonna get that from AI because if AI is getting it from those artists.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm like, that's the part where I'm like, that's where we're gonna like draw the line. You know what I mean?
Well, you just said it though.
Like where I'm
you
at
said if they are getting it, then they're getting it from them. So I mean, still they're getting it. It's just not true. It's just artificial, right? Like if you're getting, if you have a Coke Zero with 0 sugar, but yet it's still sweet. I mean, you're still getting it. It's just not. It's not sugar, right? So that's with all things AI. So I mean, it is true that it might not be exactly the same, but if it feels, tastes, smell, and looks like it, like what's the difference? So
yeah,
I mean, you got to find like
that versus like not authentic, right? So it's like
that's true, and like that's where even with some of the videos, like you can look at videos of like obviously this is AI, but again, some of them you can't, and the people that are behind building this AI avatar or video or song or music, and it actually sounds really, really, really good, and you can't tell the difference, people are going to accept it. So a lot of the stuff we see is, I say 99% of it's junk.
Yeah.
But the 1% of AI that's actually good, it's like, that's really good.
Yeah, it is really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Drake was, I think they had to take it down, but there was a song by an artist, I believe his name was Ghost. And there was a song that I think it was 21 Savage and Drake. I can't recall. I don't know, but it was a collab, but it wasn't them, but sounds so good. It went viral. I mean, I was bumping. I was looking for it.
Right.
They took it down. They took it off of Spotify, iTunes. They took it down everywhere, and they had to suppress it because it was so good. It sounded just like them.
Yeah.
That it would just crumble.
Yeah, that's a fat
just those artists' careers.
Yeah. No, but it's a fat lawsuit too, right? Because like they're taking their what do they call it? Their image, I guess.
Yeah, their image and likeness. Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's a fat law. Like what is that? That's intellectual property. Even you can go
exactly.
go to war with that all day, right?
Yeah. But like the tools, and that's where regulation comes in. It's like the tools are out there for us to do it. And again, if it's not Drake and 21 Savage, well, you can create 23 Savage, and 23 Savage, that sounds pretty good too. It's like it doesn't, it's just an AI.
Mr. Wonderful, who's like, what's stopping me from going out there and creating stuff and crushing you like the cockroach that
you are. Yeah, go shoot it in the backyard.
That one. Yeah.
I like.
Okay. I think we got some good ones. So you got your SOP as number one, must have it within the next 3 years. Set your standard in the next 3 years, and use AI to build your AI. Right?
Yes,
right?
yes.
That's like must have those top 3 things within the next 3 years for you to be even in the game.
Yeah, exactly, and not to be on that lower part of the K.
Yeah.
Because if you're not doing it, someone else is, and you're just using their product, their AI product, their AI model, their AI system.
Yeah.
There's and if you don't know, there's no excuse. I mean, there's
told by Aaron Noble of Cymbol to get on it in the next 3 years. That if you're not on it, you're going to get crushed by guys like Aaron Noble and Cymbol.
There it is. Yeah.
And guess what? I'm going to be working with Aaron Noble and Cymbol because like this stuff is way too much for me. I'm like, you know what? I'm good. Aaron knows this stuff, so Aaron, let's get this going, right?
We're in it.
Somebody, because I'm not saying that I'm not going to learn. I obviously I know enough for me to have the conversation, but it's moving so fast, and you're keeping up with that pace. You know, I think everybody needs to have
barely. That's the thing too. Barely.
So how like you have like your CFO, or you might have like your C. So you need a chief AIO.
Oh, chief AIO.
You know what I mean? And that's like you would be the chief AIO. Get you one of these guys, okay? And then he'll tell you where your business needs to be. You got your bookkeeper, you got your CFO, get your chief AIO.
Yes, that's a good
And that's
point.
going to keep you on the trajectory so you're not getting outpaced by this
Yeah,
thing, by this
exactly.
AI. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. That's funny you said that. It's yeah. I feel like even in a way I'm smushing myself because I mean I can see how even building something in AI like it just it's this cycle of like always trying to like be ahead, but like the more ahead you are, the less you are relevant. Like
Yeah.
like as a human, you
Right.
know,
But
and
I
that's
think also to speak to your point, as a human, you got to
Mhm.
still do the basics.
Yeah, that's
So it's
true.
like now you've got like, I think I watch a lot like medieval stuff, right? From like
Mhm.
medieval days. I'm watching like this Ottoman Empire series right now where,
Yeah. Okay.
this guy he's Mehmed. He's from, he's the one who broke down the wall in Istanbul and took
Mm.
over Constantinople. But back then,
Okay.
they had catapults,
Mm.
Guy comes
Hmm.
out, he was the first one to come out with the cannon.
Yeah.
And what
Okay.
he did was he was able to penetrate the wall. So that was
Yeah. Okay.
evolution in itself, like going from the catapult to the
Yeah.
cannon, right?
Yeah.
Higher
Right.
velocity, bigger cannonball going, not a
Yeah.
rock going against a
You're
wall.
right.
It's a cannonball at higher velocity. It
Yeah.
penetrates deeper and faster,
Yeah.
causes more chaos and
Hmm.
destruction. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Even
Yeah.
right now with America, we've got like this, the discombobulator, he calls it, right?
Mm.
He sent that out into Venezuela. He discombobulated everything and
Yeah.
they didn't know what to do. So then he just takes the guy, he takes Maduro and gets out of there, right?
Hmm.
So it's like
Yeah.
we need to just be able to have something so we don't get discombobulated, number one. But number two, we need to be able to, I don't know, it's going to be the younger generation, honestly. It's going to be the
Yeah.
younger generation, like Naomi, who's going to be like, this is all they know. And they're going to be the ones to keep up with the pace and see where it's
Yeah.
going. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I think we're going to become very like reliant on them to stay on that upper part of that K shape, right?
Yeah. Very much so. And we have to teach them too. And again, it's anyone. It's not it's any kid.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where they're located or how much money they are or their race. It's just not a factor.
Yeah.
It's just about what do you know and what are you willing to know, and then as an adult, and then how do we teach that to the next generation?
Yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
Okay. So I think we're gonna do one of these maybe like in another week or two, right?
Yeah, we can keep them flowing. I love it. I mean, it keeps me up, sharpened too, because there's it just change every day, and there's always news. There's always something to talk about. I'm okay with also doing demos. So like if we got to share screen and just start building something,
There we
just
go. There we
playing
go.
around with it.
Yeah.
Innate is a good platform for workflows, creating AI agents and decision making agents. So that if there's something or a request someone might have, just we could do it live.
100%. Yeah,
Not
you know
an
what? Let's do this, right? If you're watching this and you are right now thinking about exploring, how to build a SOP or maybe how to set your standard for your business or even how to build, AI using AI. If you're thinking about those things, right? Maybe
Mm.
just comment, get on the website. What's your website? Do you have a website for Cymbol?
Yeah, Cymbol.io. It's Cymbol.io. Looks probably really basic right now, but on the back end, really working on some things. It should be updated here in a few months, but yeah,
Yep.
Cymbol.io.
Yeah, and then just drop down maybe in the comments what you are doing right now in AI, what you see, maybe where you can use some assistance with AI, and just what you see, period, in your industry using
Mm.
AI, and we can
Mm.
keep the conversations going. If there's things that you guys want to talk about specifically, within your industry where you feel like AI can help you grow and move faster, become more efficient, maybe offer a more affordable service, right? And still be able to use people or maybe replace people who are not that efficient, who are just like taking money, taking up space.
Right.
You just want to add that as well into the comments, and then we'll structure the next conversation around that too. But I mean, I've got so many questions, that we can have this conversation for hours,
Yeah.
like we normally do, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's no
You know what
different.
I
It's just
mean?
for recording this time.
Yeah, we're just recording it this time, right? But like, yeah, next time we'll talk more about like a global perspective, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
I love
and
that.
whatever else you want to bring to it, right? Where do
Yeah.
people find you right now, Aaron? If the people want to like schedule a call or maybe find you on social media, where do they find you?
Yeah. You can just go to Aaron T Noble, T as in today, noble.com.
Aaron
All
T.
my links and stuff there. Yeah.
All right. So this was an amazing conversation, Aaron. I know we're gonna get together again, maybe in a couple of weeks and do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I
Let's
appreciate it.
Any last words for the people before you wrap up? I usually ask people, what is your bottom line? What is that one thing that maybe you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and it kind of like you serves as an anchor for you to keep you grounded, to keep you focused? What is your bottom line?
My bottom line would be my daughter. She's really motivated me to just become better as a man, a father, a human, a business owner. Just overall, I'd say my daughter. If I'm answering the question correctly, if that's what you're.
Yeah, it's however it lands for you. Is it?
Yeah. My bottom line when I wake up or don't want to wake up, I'm thinking about my daughter in the future that I have to provide for her.
Nice. Amazing. Yeah. I think as a father too, I think when I wake up in the morning, it's like God and then my kids. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Amen.
100%. I could relate to that. Yeah,
Love
man.
it.
This was an amazing conversation with Aaron Noble, Cymbol. Check him out. Okay. And the next one is coming in a couple of weeks. Let us know what you want us to talk about when it comes to AI and anything tech centered, anything that's a bottom line conversation. There'll be more bottom line conversations coming out sporadically, right? As we plan them. All right.
Yeah.
This was Aaron. Yeah, this was Aaron Noble, the Bottom Line Podcast, where we say what we mean and we mean what we say. Because at the core of everything that is, was, and forever will be, there will always be the bottom line.
The bottom line. I love it. I love
Catch you
it.
in the next one.
Peace.